Right, hello everybody, and welcome back. I just whacked my hand doing the introduction there. And welcome back to another episode of Doc Who Pod. I'm Josh, joined with me as always, co-host JP
Hello there.
and co-host Bradley Fuller.
Hello.
How are we today, boys? Are you ready to jump into some World War II drama?
I
Can't believe
am.
it's been a whole week since we recorded the other episode.
I know we've got so much to catch up on.
I know. So much Who
It
news to
feels,
talk about.
it feels like when you have a nap and then you wake up and you're like, where am I?
I'm not gonna lie, boys. I blew my Who News wad on the last episode.
Oh,
Oh
we know.
no, he shot it all in one go. I actually had a
Loaded
little.
beans
It's
too
not.
early.
It's not who knows, but it's something I've got to mention there. But I was watching old Top Gear episodes today, and you'll never guess who one of the. You'll never guess
Here's our
who.
grand tour segment of the Who News bit we do every week now.
God's sake.
You'll never guess who one of the stars of the Raising Price Cars was.
Who was it?
David
David
Tennant.
Tennant?
No, none other than the Billy Piper herself.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
she
was it
done
the
it as
one with her
well.
see-through top?
I don't know, to be honest. I was working, but I now may have to watch that
What?
back.
She's right. I think Jeremy Clarkson brings it up as well. Oh, and she calls him David Tennant as well, doesn't she?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. There you go. She was. I fucking love Billy Piper. Oh, if we do Billy Piper news, she's got a new series out on Netflix called Chaos with
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
Goldblum. Um, Pretty good. Give it a watch, guys. Yeah, it's pretty good actually.
Cool. Good Who news.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching Breaking Bad at the moment.
Did you finish Lost?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I can see what's misunderstood.
What do you think happens? Do you think they're in heaven?
Yeah, they're in heaven.
Oh,
Yeah.
spoilers. Anyone's going to watch it?
I think that's vague enough to not ruin anything, to not ruin this show that finished 20 years ago.
Well, they'll die at the end and they've all gone to heaven, apparently.
But they all die at different times.
I've never seen it. I don't know.
No, fair enough. Let's skip over this. Come on, we've got a Dalek episode to get through. Um, Winston Churchill, Doctor Who. Why hasn't this been done before?
I agree. I actually do like the concept of this one. I think it's great.
Oh, sorry. Before we go any further, I think Jack's got lost again, by the way.
I
I'm back.
agree. Yeah.
I'm back.
He's
You're
back.
back. There you go. Before
Headset,
we
headset
jump
ran out of
in,
charge.
fucking hell. Please stand by. This is the most technical issued 2 weeks we've ever had. Right, before we jump in, we'll start with Bradley this time in a sentence.
Ooh. Even though we done this, well, we did do this a whole week ago, but I've already forgot that we do this section, this part of the podcast. Let's say a reasonably fun Return of the Daleks.
Wow, that's a lot more generous than I expected it was going to be. I've gone the other way on this episode, but we'll get there.
Oh,
JP?
really?
Yeah, that's interesting because I've kind of gone middle of the ground. I've said my one is the Daleks are up to their usual tricks again.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm
What's
going to
yours, Josh?
just.
Do we usually ask you what yours is or not? I can't
You
remember.
do, you do,
Yeah.
you do. I mean, we literally
We
did
do.
this about 40 minutes ago, so it's pretty
No, that
impressive
was a
that you've
week
forgotten.
ago.
Right,
Sorry, sorry, a week
I got a
ago.
memory like a sieve, man, at the moment.
Solid opening. Terrible ending, I think, is where I'm going with this. And
Mm.
just, I mean, we don't normally do this, but I'm going to elaborate on that straight away. The first half of this episode feels like it's moving at 100 miles an hour. And again, maybe it's the Sherlockiness about it, but the mystery surrounding, fuck, has he just invented are we going to see like a new origin of the Daleks? What is going on? Watching the Doctor lose his shit, all of that stuff. Until he gets on the Dalek ship, I think is pretty good, right?
Yeah,
I
I
like all
just
of it.
yeah, it wasn't. Excuse me. It wasn't really like it didn't feel like a plot heavy episode.
Yeah,
Like it
agreed.
seemed like one of the shorter episodes. And I had to double check, and it's the same length as a normal episode, but it just felt like a short episode.
Yeah, no, it's quite fast
Um,
paced without a lot happening for sure.
yeah, it's weird.
Um,
It's weird.
this is wild for me because it's two ends of the extreme. We'll obviously talk about the Paradigm Daleks towards the end because I think that's going to be the biggest point of contention. But
Mhm.
Army Camo Daleks are possibly the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Oh, mate, put a
They
Dalek
are
in
good.
Spitfire Greed and I am fucking in it.
This is what I mean. So Daleks in the army, Spitfires in space, a new design for the Daleks. This should be amazing, and it's just a bit meh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean there is one very very interesting. I mean the new Daleks were kind of interesting, but there's one really interesting point that is more Easter egg, I guess, because they make the point and then they come back to the end, and the fact that Amy doesn't remember the Daleks.
Ah, yes. Funnily enough, we didn't do the Easter egg for the last episode as well.
Oh, I
Um,
wonder if it was that ginormous fucking crack that appeared inside of the
I
ship.
was so upset that they zoomed in on it, by the way. If they hadn't have zoomed in on it, I might have been like, okay, we can get away with that. But they zoom in on it. Okay, so what do you think is happening this time round, JP?
Well, obviously there's a fucking crack and someone's got some work with some filler and a fucking bit of elbow grease. But
But what about the whole forgetting the Daleks?
obviously the crack makes you forget. Mm.
You don't think we've got another Donna situation on our hands? The crack does make you forget, to be fair. That is an
Crack does
accurate
make you forget.
sentence.
There we go.
It does.
That's it. Yeah, crack makes you forget. Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm guessing because Amy was in the vicinity of a crack or something. She either disappeared when the Daleks came as a protective thing, or it
Oh,
made
okay.
her forget them, or I don't know. But obviously, because Amy grew up near the crack, that's obviously affected her in some way.
Brad, do
And
you remember what happens here?
Yeah, I pretty much remember the whole episode before I watched it.
No. Do you
Um,
remember why she can't remember the Daleks?
oh, only that it relates to the crack. I don't really remember why. There's a reason.
Interesting.
Again, I think it's an overly complicated reason. But yeah, it's something related to the crack.
that sounds
I
quite
th-
right then.
well, potentially. It's yeah. No, I
She
like your
can't get
theories.
rewritten or something like that. I don't know. Like that.
Something along those lines. I'm intrigued to watch this unfold with you boys. I must have done the finale for this series not too long ago because I think I've got a pretty
Really?
good idea of what happens. Yeah, I must have done it just before we
Ooh.
started this. Um,
I've
but
not watched this in years. The finale.
it's a bit on the nose, and it does feel a bit too similar to what we just had with Donna. No,
No, I don't. I don't think that's the main plot point around it. So I don't think I have the biggest issue with it
yeah, true. It's
in
got a
that.
different resolution. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I like Winston Churchill in this episode. I think he's acted brilliantly. I think his characterization is great. I love the fact that he's so desperate to win, he doesn't even care what the doctor thinks. He says one line, and I had to make a note of it. If Hitler invaded hell, I would give good reference to the devil. Oh, that's good writing.
Mate, I love it. Honestly, I tell you what, they casted the guy that played Winston Churchill. They casted him fucking perfectly.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
short of Gary Oldman in what was that? I think the film was just called Churchill, but short of Gary Oldman there in like a fuck ton of makeup. That was pretty class. I like that,
Pretty
and he
good.
captures his mannerisms as well.
He's excellent. He's such a brilliant actor for the role. I'm glad we see him again at some point.
Do
Do we?
we?
Churchill comes back at some point. I'm 90% sure on Churchill. Um,
Ooh.
what do we think about Matt Smith interacting with the Daleks compared to Tennant interacting with the Daleks? And I know we can't keep comparing him to Tennant, but we've got 3 episodes. Well, this is the second real episode of Matt Smith, I guess. No, third, right? Third. Um, what do you think so far, JP?
Well, Tennant is more scared of the Daleks. So, like,
Okay.
when he's kind of there, if you look at the first Dalek episode, he just starts shitting everywhere. Um, And then what other episodes of the Daleks? Daleks in Manhattan. He's pretty terrified of them there as well. Like he gives the Daleks a lot more respect. He's like, no, 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 we don't fuck with this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
let me deal with this. Whereas Matt Smith is more like, yeah, and what, bitch? And it's just like, well, hold on a minute. Like, it's the same character. I know, played by a different actor with different mannerisms and everything like that. But I just it's very weird to just take a different approach and like have different feelings about something as iconic as the Daleks as well. You know,
Okay.
especially when he's trying to like fucking fight it. Like,
Yeah, when
I
he
know.
goes at it
By
with a
the way,
giant wrench.
yeah, which by the way is all. Yeah, he's spot on. He called it straight away. He's like trying to coax it out of it because he knows that there's something fucky with that Dalek. So he's trying to coax it out and get his so which he's spot on with. But it's just like someone of his experience or something like that. You know, you would have thought would have gone about it a different way.
So this kind of leans into the Easter egg a little bit, and certainly for the 50th anniversary. So David Tennant is the man who regrets, and Matt Smith is the man who forgets. That's how their doctors are pegged. I don't even know if they had this planned out at this stage, but yeah, you're
Oh.
like, I totally agree with you. Matt Smith shows like almost like a disconnect now to they are just bad guys rather than the things that destroyed their entire race. But I think the point is that something happens that makes Matt Smith feel this way, if that makes sense. Brad, does that make sense?
Yes, I agree with that. I think you need to be careful what you give away, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
agree with that makes
something
sense.
happens
Oh,
that makes him a little bit more, not relaxed towards the Daleks, but a little bit less remorseful, maybe. Um, what did you think of him in this episode, Brad?
What, Churchill? Matt Smith?
Oh, good. You've been listening to the last 10 minutes of our conversation. Matt Smith, please.
I like it's sort of a contrast, I think. 'Cause, I mean, you didn't think he was very fun in the last one, but especially compared to the first episode where he is really fun. I think he's a lot more angry in this one because he knows the Daleks are up to something, but they don't reveal themselves until a certain point. So he's very angry, and it's a much more darker side to Matt Smith that you don't see too often, I think. I quite like that.
I think we do see it quite often. This is what I mean about that old man in a young man's body. Like he is,
It's not what you think of him, though, do you? When you think of Matt Smith, you always think of him as being the fun, bubbly one, very much like Tennant.
oh, mate, I don't think I do. I don't,
Do you
like for
not?
me, Matt Smith is grumpy and dark. Like
I
he
don't
just
know. I think of
is.
him as just being the fun guy in the bow tie.
That is his
You know?
slogan, to
I
be
tell you what,
fair.
that
Yeah.
is a tagline and a half for me.
He's
You
going to get
It
a
fucking nailed
poster
is
that.
of that in the TARDIS. Just a fun guy
fun
in a
guy in a
bow
bow
tie.
tie.
That that's our podcast subtitle now for sure. Um, yeah, no, I don't. I think I don't know. I don't know. I
I know
think
what you mean. He's got dark sides, but I still don't see his overall. Like Christopher Eccleston, I see as a darker Doctor. Matt Smith,
yeah,
I don't.
okay. Okay, yeah, I agree with that, to be fair. He's not perhaps as dark as uh Matt Smith, but yeah, interesting. Again, I think I mentioned it up top. I like that it's still a little bit Sherlocky this episode. Like when the Daleks were like, "We need your testimony," I was genuinely sat like, "What the fuck do they need the testimony for? Like, how does what? I don't understand. Like, what did you think of the Daleks' plan as a whole?
I mean, it was an interesting one, yeah. I just, I don't
Too
know. I mean,
overcomplicated?
it did kind of make sense. Like they needed the doctor to verify who they were, um, which kind of made sense, I guess. But it was a bit of a strange one. Like you've got this species of people who are all, or not even people, species of alien that are all about kind of, efficiency and no moral like clouding or anything like that. And then they're just like, yeah, by the way, we need our greatest enemy to send us a voice note so we can, kind of open up a new, kind of generation of Daleks. I'm like,
Yeah, I think it's a
I
bit
It's
don't
a
weird.
get it.
bit nonsense, isn't it? Yeah. but
Like,
I
it was interesting. Like they kind of got the last laugh on the Doctor. Like the Doctor was, I kind of not sided with the Daleks, but I was like, yeah, Serge, you're right, you dick. Sitting there bragging about like kind of fucking, oh, I blew you up and everything like that. And I'm like, well, that's not really the whole point of the Doctor, is it?
no, no, I suppose not. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just think the whole going undercover as the British Army, like that sounds like a lot of hard work to get the Doctor's attention. Don't you think, like, surely
True.
just bombing London would be enough to get the Doctor to come out, no?
Yeah, but then I suppose they wouldn't have been able to coax him into sending him a voice note, would they?
I suppose not, yeah. I suppose not. Brad, too complicated for you. I presume you don't like this sort of stuff.
Why? Why'd you say that?
Yeah.
Because you famously
Why?
go on the record as saying the Moff era is too complicated.
Yeah,
And
but
this is a
this
far
episode is
more.
probably the simplest of all of them, to be honest.
No, but the Daleks' plan is too overcomplicated.
I don't think it is. Not really. It's just a classic Dalek plan. At the end of the day, they're using the Doctor to get what they want. They want to then try and kill him,
How can you
and they want to rule the world.
possibly say that? They've created a human robot to go
Yeah.
undercover in World War II on the British side to come up with the invention of Daleks, hope that they have the materials to create the Daleks, hope that this
No, they
person will
don't
then.
do that.
Of course
They've
they
obviously just
do.
put the Daleks there. The robot hasn't actually created them.
Okay, fine. But even if that's the case, they've then had to hope that this guy somehow manages to work his way up to Winston Churchill. They have to hope that Winston Churchill knows the
Well,
Doctor
that
and
was
will be.
easy though, because they were literally weapons that easily kill the Nazis. That was always
Okay,
going to happen.
okay. All right,
An
fine,
easy plot.
fine. You then have to hope that Winston Churchill knows the Doctor. You then have to hope that Winston
We
Churchill
obviously
is
know he does.
okay. You then have to hope that Winston Churchill is suspicious enough to call the Doctor, but that the Doctor will take 1 month to get there. So by the time he reaches, the Daleks are already called in, and it doesn't matter because Churchill won't get rid of them if the Doctor recommends it. Then he has to hope that he gets so annoyed that Churchill's, welcomed the Daleks into British society that he loses his shit and attacks a Dalek. It's a mental plan.
I mean, it's a plan that works. I think you're overthinking it yet again.
I'm not overthinking
Why
it. That
Dalek?
is step by step,
You
each
are.
stage of the Daleks plan. It's overcomplication one on one. I can't believe you like this, but you don't like the last episode.
It's it's not about the actual physical plot being overcomplicated. It's the understanding of a basic Doctor Who episode that shouldn't be complex. This is not complex to understand, so it makes sense.
Why
So I
does
don't
a
care how
voicemail
complicated
from
their
the
plot is
Doctor set off this device that allows new Daleks to be created?
because it recognises their DNA or the Daleks, whatever. I don't know.
But they don't get. If I say Bradley Fuller, you are Bradley Fuller. I've not just confirmed your DNA. You can't
Thanks
do a
for
DNA
confirming my
test
full
on
name
me.
on podcast.
I introduced you as Bradley Fuller every time, did I?
Do you?
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
it's nonsense, and I'm upset that you like it. Okay, so they do their little voice note thing from the Doctor. They beam up to the ship. Doctor follows them up onto the ship, and for me, this is where the episode falls apart a little bit. I think. Um,
Oh, we've skipped over a lot.
have we?
I feel like
I
we
mean, you
have.
skipped over the bit, haven't you? Skipped over the bit about what's his name finding out he's a robot and that he didn't actually shoot his hand off. And
Oh yeah, I was sort of going to come back
skip.
round to him at the end. Go on. What
Okay.
do we think of Scotty McGee?
First of all, I didn't realise that was his name, but that's quite funny actually.
No,
It's
it's
not his
not. It's
name.
not. It's not.
Oh,
It's
it's not his
not.
name. I was gonna say, wow, the writers fucking nailed
What's
the.
his name? Bracewell?
Yeah, Bracewell, something like that. Yeah, Paisley or whatever Amy calls him.
Paisley boy.
Paisley boy. Yeah. Oh, what did we think of him?
I thought he was all right, to be honest. I think the funniest thing about him though was kind of when it's revealed that the Daleks have, kind of been behind all these inventions and everything like that. And he's like, "Oh, but they came to me in my dreams." I just imagined a Dalek just coming up to him with his ear, just like, you know.
Maybe.
It just really, it took. I'm not gonna lie, it did take me out of the episode
I've got a really
momentarily
good idea
because,
for a spaceship. We can make the
yeah,
Spitfires go in space. Just say
like,
you did it. I don't want any of the credit.
It just really made me chuckle. As I said, it took me out of the episode momentarily, but
I'm
still.
sorry. Something. I mean, I do. I am saying I do highlight this episode, but the fact that we're saying that this guy creates the Daleks. Has anyone actually ever seen him create one? Like, how does he get the technology to make the
Who has
lasers that just
vouched
blow
him
up
for
an
this?
entire plane or something? Like,
Actually, that's it. It's interesting you say that because yeah, it's a fair point. Like they just about had electricity invented, didn't they?
The thing I
exactly.
love
Where's
about
he got
this,
all this technology from?
no, the thing that's even more far-fetched than that is that he goes from um being on the floor crying to the space of making Spitfires flying out of space in about 10 minutes of real time. Like the doctor's
Yeah, we
having
never
one
see him adapt
conversation.
a plane at all. It's just all of a sudden they fly in space through
And
some
where did they
gravity
get that
shield.
kit from? Like, okay, let's say the Dalek just came down, so he didn't make the Daleks. Where's he got stuff that can make Spitfires go in space? Also, if you've got a fleet of Spitfires that shoot Dalek lasers that can go in space, rather than sending them up to the heavily shielded and heavily armored thing that's projecting the light, just take out the German fleet with them, no?
Yeah, it's
And
yeah.
doesn't this
Go on.
also then change the moon landing? Like, surely they can go to the moon a bit earlier at this point. They can land a Spitfire on there.
No. The doctor specifically says he dismantles everything in about 10 minutes after he's
Oh,
landed.
right, okay.
Absolute nonsense. Yeah, I think his suicidal acting is very good. I think his about to blow up acting is a little bit less bad. Less good, sorry, a little bit less good.
Yeah,
My biggest
it's
gripe with this episode is definitely the ending and how it ends, I think.
Oh, I like an ending that's like love prevails.
I don't know. I think it's a bit far-fetched.
yeah. I agree with Brad on
No.
that one.
Oh, he
Oh, tell me
remembers
about the girl.
this,
Tell
and
me
he
about the
remembers
girl.
the feelings, and he has feelings, and oh, we stop blowing up now.
I like it. Love conquers all. I also like that again,
Love and not fire.
the doctor is so alien, he would never think of love being the thing to save it. He understands it has to be a strong emotion, but he doesn't get that it's love. That's good. That's good, I think.
Is it?
Not a fan.
So
Silly.
anyway, the doctor is on the Dalek spaceship. He pulls out his jammy dodger as a bluff.
Love that bit.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about it.
I
I
think it's quite
wasn't.
funny. This is the
It,
light-hearted side of Matt Smith I like.
it is funny, I guess, but then I don't know. It just kind of it just makes the Daleks look fucking stupid.
Exactly that. That's
Yeah,
exactly
but
what
not
it is.
really. That it doesn't because if they literally don't know. This is the Doctor who will do anything to save the Earth. All he's done is show a little thing that looks like a button, and he's saying that he's going to press it and blow up the TARDIS. They can't scan, so they don't know what it is. How does that make them look stupid?
My issue with it is that okay, he says don't scan it, and then as soon as the new Daleks come, they just scan it immediately anyway.
Yeah, and he doesn't know they've scanned it until they say we've scanned it.
Yeah, so it's a bit like what's the point? But anyway, I get it. He's got a bluff of something, um, and there's this whole back and forth, and I don't think Matt Smith with the Daleks is as interesting as David Tennant with the Daleks. I think I'm sort of done with the Daleks now. I don't want to see him again for a while, if that makes sense.
I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Look, I get like that the Daleks are the Doctor's greatest enemy because of the whole time war and everything like that, but it just seems like the plot is exactly the fucking same.
Yeah. Yeah. This for me as well, it felt like Matt Smith was trying to do a David Tennant impression, even to the bits where he's like, I'm the doctor and you're like, I can imagine David Tennant saying that, if that makes sense. And I just think, let him grow a bit on his own rather than it's the dark, like JP, like you said, it's the same story every time with the Daleks, you know?
Yeah, like it is literally just the same. The Daleks appear at some point in history. People think that they're a good thing. They trick one person. Turns out they screw that person over. They're building their own army. The Doctor has to stop it. The Doctor does stop it. The end. We think they're all dead, but actually, probably one of them's escaped for a fucking vortex or something.
Yeah. Well, in this case, the Daleks are back. One ship survived. Forget about it. Let's just pretend it did. That's fine. and they give way, or sorry, they sacrifice themselves, or whatever they do. They've got this weird little salt shaker thing, and the Teletubbies arrive. What do we think of the Doctor Who redesign of the Daleks?
Oh, I
I
thought it
like
was for like
it.
the LGBTQ plus community, like or like the but like the rainbow flag, isn't it? I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Um, Go on. What did you think?
I like
I
them. I
Yeah, I
like the
guess
modernization of them. I like the colours. I like the deeper voice.
Yeah, I like the deeper
We're
voice. You
Daleks.
cannot be serious saying you like this.
I genuinely do. I actually do quite like the redesign. I like it.
Mate, you shout at me for having controversial opinions.
What's
They
wrong with
look
that?
ridiculous. Everybody
No, no.
hates these. They never show up again except for the end of this series because it was in the same filming block. They look ridiculous. Okay, I like the colors and I like the size and I like the deep voice. Why have they got a humpback?
A
I
what?
don't know.
Got a
Extra
what?
power, like it's a bigger battery,
What have they
like
Maybe
got?
gadget,
a
gadget.
humpback.
What's a
Gadget,
humpback?
gadget.
What?
I'm gonna put a picture of them in the group chat.
Maybe
But if you,
I've missed this.
it looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It looks like they've got a big bunda. I actually can't. Yeah, there you go. That's one. Oh, it looks so ridiculous.
Oh, I don't mind it.
Please stand by whilst I send this photo into the chat.
You put a picture in, I was going to say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm coming. Oh, it's not saved. 1 second. Cannot save. Picture. Excellent.
Yeah, I
It
don't
looks
mind it.
like a cripple.
It just was a bit unnecessary.
Listen, I also can see where Moffat's coming from. New series, Russell redesigned them. He wants to put his own stamp on them. This doesn't
Oh,
work
God.
for me.
I
Yeah,
did
do you know what I
not notice
mean?
that. That looks awful.
It looks like a retard. I don't know if we can say that actually, but
Well,
it looks like it's got
it
something
looks
wrong
a bit
with it.
chubby.
A bit, it's a bit big.
It's me as a Dalek.
By the
Yeah,
way,
I
that is
did not notice
tinfoil
that.
on the walls in the background, just in case you're interested.
Yeah, it does
Confirmed.
look like that, doesn't it?
So yeah, it doesn't. I like the colors. I like that. I like that it's bold and crisp. It's the same redesign as the TARDIS. It's bigger, it's crisper, and it's sort of fresh. But it doesn't work for me. And it was slated at the time, absolutely panned.
Yeah,
Really?
you could see why.
Not as bad as the redesign for Jodie's era,
Oh, there's a further redesign. Uh-oh.
Is that a redesign?
though. The
That's just a
one
one-off because it's put
from,
together, right?
yeah, but then don't they come back at some point and look the same?
I don't think so.
The, yeah,
If
they
they
look
do,
similar
then
in
poor form. Yeah.
when they come back at the White House, not the White House, 10 Downing Street, that episode.
Oh, yeah. But again, that's because the humans have designed them.
Yeah, still didn't like them.
Funnily
God,
enough,
we
that's
really.
exactly the same plot as this fucking episode.
I
The
was gonna
Prime
say we really
Minister
don't learn our
instructs
lesson, do we?
the Prime Minister instructs the Daleks to work for us, and then they end up betraying us. Jesus, that's a bit embarrassing. Anyway, right. So, where were we? Yeah, I do like the Daleks' plan of let the humans destroy themselves. And again, I'm not going to go into a rant, but humanity is its own worst enemy. How can we be fighting each other? Doesn't make any sense. I like
I
that.
don't know.
That's
The
very good.
Nazis kind of were bad.
But it says a lot about us as a people, as a planet, that we're fighting each other.
Funny
Mm,
question. Funny question. If you had to pick one to kill, Josh, would you kill? Um, Actually, no, I don't think that's a relevant question.
The
What,
answer is
just a
you, Brad.
fucking
The answer to
mood
that
killer
question
one?
is always you. I thought you were going to say like Greta Thunberg or
In my
fucking.
head, I was going to have a really good point, and then now I'm kind of a bit like, you're obviously going to say the other. So no,
Go
ignore
on.
me on that one.
What was it going to be? You might as well just give it
Oh, I
No,
kind of want to
nothing,
hear now.
nothing.
um, right. Yeah. So it's just nothing really happens, and then all of a sudden we've got Spitfires in space,
Last though,
and
that's good. That bit.
I did like that bit. I gotta say, very Star
oh,
Wars.
it's very Star Wars for me. JP, you remember when we spoke about the Christmas invasion? It's just
Mm.
nonsense action, and it's all CGI.
Good action,
We
yeah.
are watching a cartoon for that 10-minute period. Like
Doctor to
you're
Danny
aware of
Boy,
that.
Doctor to Danny Boy. Just
Oh my
relax now.
God, yes. Brad's just reminded me there. Fucking what a little callback. Yeah, no, in fact, it was a callback. The broadsword to Danny Boy.
Go
You've
on. I
ne
don't know this.
you've never
Yeah, I
seen the
don't know
film
what
Where
it
Eagles
is either.
Dare, have you? I know Brad hasn't because I had to explain it to him when I got really excited. It's there's a very old film called Where Eagles Dare, and
Yeah.
they're two of the call signs, Broadsword and Danny Boy.
Oh, there you go.
Uh,
I
Yeah,
do
which I
have
thought was really
another
cool.
Easter egg for Danny Boy. Anybody know who it is?
No, but you
no.
moaned at me last. I did remember after that happened. I remembered you got really angry at me because you thought I cheated. Because
At
I got
what?
the Danny Boy reference. There was that broadsword Danny Boy, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a reference. And you were like, well, you shouldn't know that. I was like, no, it's
I can't
What are you
remember.
talking about?
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was season 1 or something like that. Maybe
Uh,
season 2. It was
I
early
don't
on.
know. It's it's Mark Gatiss, long-time writer, and he's
Is it
Lazarus
really?
from the Lazarus Experiment. Yeah,
Ah.
And
Mycroft from
Mycroft and
Sherlock
Sherlock.
Holmes. Yeah,
Yeah,
himself. You can tell he likes working with Moffat, can't
yeah, yeah.
you? um, yeah, I've just got a note here that says Scottish man can make spaceships in the 40s very easily. Um, just baffling to me. It just doesn't work at all. Then we're
It's just a
basically
bit of
watching a
fun.
cartoon. Um, and then they back and forth. I thought, honestly, it's all so boring. Oh, turn the lights off. Oh, we'll blow you up. Oh, we've got a bomb on the planet. Who cares?
You mean the literal World War II where lots of people died in? Is that boring to you, is it?
No, that is not even nearly what I just said.
I mean, it's kind
Sounds
of it.
like it.
That is not remotely what I just said.
Sorry, it's historically accurate. Is that not good enough for you?
Fucking hell.
Would you prefer it to be about capitalism and a wow?
um, Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, I have completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't. So okay, so the Doctor and the Daleks they're on a standoff for a while. Uh, then they scan the Jammy Dodger. They're not in a standoff. He gets in the ship. They say we've got a bomb on the planet. He lets them go. They blow up the bomb. He stops the bomb from blowing up anyway. Probably could have just stopped the bomb from blowing up in the first place. No, let
Yeah,
Danny
what
Boy
happened to
kill
Yeah,
the
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 Daleks.
wire bit? Why don't they try and cut a wire? Is there no wires? I can't remember.
Oh, they'd have to break open poor whatever his name was.
Brace
the,
for-
I think the funniest part of this episode is when Matt Smith laughs at Dorabella and Amy has to bring him back into check. I think that's genuinely quite a funny moment.
that's a realistic
Dorabella.
piece. But then the interesting thing is he goes on about fucking Amelia Pond being a very
Lovely name, yeah.
yeah, like a what was he called it? It's a mythical name, does he call it or something?
Fairy tale name, yeah.
That's it, a fairy tale name, and then he starts giving shit for
But
that.
that's
But
okay. I'll give it to Brad
Dorabella.
there. That's his sort of childy goofiness coming out, and I really like that. Dorabella, and then he's like, "Oh no, we're trying to stop the world from blowing up here." I think that's all excellent. Um, and then everybody celebrates, and everybody has a cup of tea, and it's all very nice, except for the lady. Oh, so you know that lady that's crying because her husband died?
Yeah.
mm,
I thought for sure the doctor was going to go back and save him.
Why?
Just like what's the point of having her in the corner crying if it's not going to serve the plot?
I think
But
it's to show the realism that it's still World War II.
I know, but I just thought it was quite brutal in a kids show.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but
No, I've got
Yeah, we've
nothing to
just
like.
learned about wows and capitalism, so why can't we learn about a real world war that happened?
I just thought it was oddly harsh on that character. Um, there's one shot at the end of the people raising the flag, which is like an iconic American thing, right, JP? You must know this.
yeah, spot on. Yeah. The I can't remember which Japanese island it was, but it was one of them.
Is it Iowa?
It could be I. No, I was the state.
I
I was
googled it
America,
and
right?
it said raising the flag on Iowa.
That could be Iowa then.
Um, it really pisses me off for some reason.
Why?
Just that shot. Like, why are you recreating this? That's an American thing. I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
I think it's because I hate war propaganda.
yeah. It's a bit odd that they did it for like kind of the British Army. There's plenty of fucking things that they could have done, like that were like British wartime propaganda.
Yeah,
But
exactly. They
yeah,
went for that one. Just thought that was interesting. Um, yeah, I thought it was all right. And then did you catch the Easter egg at the end?
oh, is it a crack by any chance? I don't know. I may have missed it. I just took my eyes off
Well,
the screen
correct,
for
wasn't
about
it?
half an hour. You know.
I've got nothing else really to say about this episode, to be honest. We've obviously just rushed through the plot there. Did you boys have anything to add?
I really want to like this episode more than I do because
Agreed.
this episode to me, like on paper for me, is World War Two. It's Doctor Who. There's Daleks, Spitfires. This should be
Yeah.
fucking like crack cocaine to me.
What?
But
What more do you want? What's wrong with it?
It
it just
just doesn't gel together properly, or I
Doesn't
don't
flow right.
know.
I can
yeah,
kind of
it's
agree with that, but I
it,
still
it,
think it's a good, solid
no, it's
episode.
a good episode. It is a good episode, but I just feel they could have done it better. I
I
feel
tell you
I feel a
why.
little bit disappointed.
It
Two-parter
feels
probably would have
like
been better.
I was gonna say that, but probably not for the same reasons. This feels like part one of the Daleks returning, but part ones are never that interesting until they're followed up. Not to spoil anything, this doesn't really get followed up on, to be honest with you, JP. This feels like it's just there to say, actually, the Daleks are still in the universe and they now look like these big multicolored things. Like that's the
Yeah,
point of the story. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it's a bit of an odd one.
But
Um,
this is my thing. I think we mentioned it when the Daleks returned last time. I don't think you need an explanation to bring back the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Master. I think it's just a given. They'll be killed off at the end of the stories that they're in, and they will just be back the next time we need them. I think that's enough. So I think this just
nah,
feels
there's got
it.
there's got to be logic in it. I'm still
I
gonna
like
stick
for
with
it
that.
to follow through. I'd rather they weren't just completely all unlinked.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I definitely don't think we need a whole episode explaining how they're coming back potentially in the future. I think that it feels like a prologue. It feels like a part one. Um, and yeah, Spitfires in space, and it's just not exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. It just I kind of fell a bit flat,
Yeah,
maybe. Just yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. But
I t
the thing that did make me laugh though was the fact that Winston Churchill tried to ponce the TARDIS at
Oh,
the
I love
end.
that. I think that's quite funny, to be fair. The characterizations in this are excellent, but of course he's going to try and nick in the time machine. He's desperate to win the war. I love that. Excellent.
Yeah,
By the way,
yeah.
Amy
No,
Pond
it's
is fit as fuck in this episode as well. Short little
oh,
spurts. Oh my
what do you mean?
God.
What do you mean this episode, mate? Fucking hell.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Um, yeah. Anything to add, Bradley?
Nah, I was pretty happy with it. I think it was fun.
Um,
I know
Yeah,
it
no, it
doesn't
definitely
flow
was
quite
fun.
right, but I liked it.
Yeah, it definitely was fun. I will say it was a fun episode.
Better
I don't
than the
know.
one before, without a doubt.
Yeah, I
it was
100% agree
more
with that.
fun than the one before. I still don't think it was that fun. I mean, it's just
You
people
don't know what
standing in a
fun
war
was.
room. Fuck off. It's just people standing in a war room, or it's the Doctor standing in a Dalek spaceship. Like, it just feels small or small budget or something. I don't know. But I'm gonna kick things off. It just about teeters on love it, I think. Just there's just something keeping me above I hate it. So I am gonna say love it. JP?
Oh, it is a love it for me. As I said, it just it feels like it was a little bit poorly executed. Just kind of fell flat a bit. But
Yeah.
I will say the overall premise, I did think it was a fun and interesting episode. And yeah, no, it's a love it for me. What about you, Brett?
Nice.
Yeah, love it as well. I think it's fun. It's a good return of the Daleks, although it doesn't quite follow all the way through. But I think as well, this from memory, this also kind of kickstarts a pretty good run of episodes for this series.
Interesting.
I think,
I
from
do not
memory.
know whether that's true or not. But speaking of, what did we think of the next time, JP?
Yeah.
Oh, the Weeping Angels are back. I can't wait, actually. I did love the Weeping Angels, and it's going to be interesting to see what they kind of do with them.
I, for the life of me, can't remember if I like these next two episodes or not.
I
Bradley?
think they're pretty good. I think they are pretty good. I have just had a look. I think it's actually a bit of a mix. I thought there was more good and then bad at the end, but it's not. It's pretty mixed up and down. So I'd
Yeah, I
say
know
next
what you
two are
mean.
good. Then don't know about the one after. I can't remember it. Then good. Then don't know. And then it gets pretty good.
Yeah. Um, let's see. So River is back, the Angels are back.
Hmm.
Um, that's about all we get from it, really.
Yeah, it doesn't really reveal a lot.
No.
You know what? It's kind of like the opposite of this. No, in fact, sorry, the same as this episode. There's like kind of, there's not a lot really revealed, but it's quite pacey.
I tell you what we do get. We get military, uh, religious military people. And
Oh yeah.
I'm already practicing my rant for how religion is just, conscription and it's just nonsense and it's just being militarized. So
Nice.
looking forward to
I think
that.
I'm busy next week, guys.
I didn't see any Americans in there.
Oh, they're in there. The bad guy from Resident Evil is fucking in there.
Well, Wesker.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
Is
I've just
he?
looked. He's technically Scottish, but he's basically American. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to next week. Was I about to say something else? Oh yes. So the reason I'm excited for next week, I've mentioned this a couple of times on the podcast. These
Hmm.
this two-parter is, I don't know where it comes in this, but this is the one that my mother ruined the series long Easter egg for me with. So I want to see if
Oh.
you two boys are going to be able to spot it.
Are we better than Josh's mum from like 15, 20 years ago?
Bearing in mind, my mum got it from Digital Spy. So
Okay, so are we better than Digital Spy? That's going to be a tough one. I don't think we are, but we'll give it a go.
I remember it vividly. I don't know if it's in part one or part two, but I'm very, very excited to see if you boys are going to be able to find it. But for now, listen, guys, thank you as always for listening. We do really appreciate it. We are, oddly enough, we've had a surge in listeners lately. So
Have we?
yeah, I don't on Monday, right? So we normally get around about between 10 and 20 downloads a day, a little bit less on the
Yeah.
weekends and a little bit more on the day that our episodes are released, so
Release
Fridays.
day.
Um, Yesterday, just out of the blue, 80 downloads. Don't know where
Whoa.
they came
What,
from.
for the most recent episode?
I've no idea. Distributed over a few episodes, I think.
Wow.
Um, the analytics that we're looking at don't really sort of break down who viewed what on what day, which is a little bit annoying.
Oh.
But yeah, just out of the blue, just had loads of downloads. I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, very quickly put it open today just to compare it. Um,
Here you go.
yeah, so like we're now on 4 today, apparently. So that's dropped right
Four.
off.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
Monday the 23rd, we had 80 downloads out of the blue.
Well, to that one
Very
person with
random.
shit internet, thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt Roberts.
Yeah, Doctor Who chronological.
Just
What's
to
happening with
start,
those things? Why have we not done any more of them?
Well, we've put
ah,
JP in charge of it, and I think he doesn't want to ask people.
well, apparently people
Uh,
download us 80 times a day, but we just don't fucking who
well,
wants to come on
message
then?
us if you want to do that thing. Message and you can come on with JP.
Yeah, come on with JP. But JP also reach out to a few people. Just be like, what's happening?
Yeah, drop some messages.
I've
Come
I,
on with
I've
us.
literally reached out to everyone that we've kind of got contacts with.
That is an absolute lie.
Yeah,
We have more than
we're
two followers.
yeah, but no, it's yeah, boys, we're not as big as we think we are.
I don't think we're big at all.
I don't think we're big at all. There's
Kind
definitely
of.
people out there. You just need to start reaching out. I'm not to be arrogant, but I managed to get
This is
Matthew
some of the
Roberts
big
and
ones.
Doctor Who chronological 2 weeks on the trot with minimum effort.
Let's
You
get
will
About
absolutely be
Time to come
able to
along,
do
Pom Dom.
something.
Who's about
What?
time?
No, we're not
Is it
doing
about
about.
time?
No, we're not having those bastards on this show.
What?
I would
Well,
just like
that's
to
the
point out,
spirit.
I do not think they're bastards at all. I just like the idea that there's a slight
You don't
rivalry
even know
because
them.
we're sort of similar in where we're at with reviewing Doctor Who.
Oh, we?
Um, we're at roughly the same level. Yeah, I actually like listening to you. No, I don't. Fuck you guys, man. We're the better Doctor Who podcast.
They do a lot more than us. They do it more full time.
Yeah, they do,
They actually have
exactly.
someone who's dedicated and does post on Instagram.
Fucking nerds.
And on that dreadful bombshell,
Adios, amigos.
unbelievable.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.